What's up, world? How's everybody doing today, tonight, tomorrow, whatever time realm dimension you live in? I hope you're doing great, feeling blessed, no stress. Even though this world is so damn stressful and full of so many stresses, it's driving us all crazy and mad. I hope you're doing great. I hope you really, truly are feeling blessed. First and foremost, thank you so much for all you do. Sorry, guys, I had to take the weekend off. Had to take me a little journey and go out to the woods for a little bit, do some fishing. Well, kind of fishing. I was catching something, but it was mainly a buzz. But, hey, I did catch something. I had to get away, though. I had to go get in the woods, dip my feet in the water, dip a pole in the water, rod and reel, and just relax and get away. Get away from technology, get away from all the hoopla. But when I got back, I noticed some stuff had happened. Trump had gone on some kind of pilgrimage, is the way Spicer put it. If you listen to him talk at the White House briefing, you'd think he went on the damn saving of the world, bringing everybody together, the second coming of Christ here, the way they talk about him. Hell, from what I understand, I think Trump healed the blind, turned wine into water, and cured or fixed all starvation throughout the world, and now there's world peace. Way to go. Yeah. Anywho, he went on this big trip to Israel, Saudi Arabia, all these places to meet with people. And it seemed like the big push that came out of this was what I got and what a lot of others got was this one world religion. This push upon getting rid of these barriers of differences, which they've already done here, especially in the United States, and now it's going worldwide, as they would say in the industry. Worldwide, baby! You can't help but to notice they've already basically dehumanized us. That'll come here in a second. But they've taken away the fact you no longer can you be black, white, Hispanic, gay, straight, male or female. Basically want to turn us into cyborgs and computerize all of us and have us interface with the new AI technology that will probably soon be taken over thanks to people like D-Wave and CERN and all these groups. But now they want you to drop your beliefs and go to this one world religion. Want everybody to drop their beliefs and go to this one world religion. You're seeing people like the Pope, even Obama, pushing it. He did an interview. The Pope had every religious leader of every kind over for s'mores and cocoa, and they all sat around and talked about this, I guess. And Trump even pushed it. Not only has he pushed that, but recently he had the executive order that he signed where he basically kind of abolished the whole state and church separation and bringing that together. Now what that entails, you got to read the fine details. It's not what everybody thinks it is. There's a lot more to this and a lot more madness to this. This whole thing of bringing, this one world religion in, it's a clean way of doing the New World Order, the takeover. What they can do is, without all the mess and the hoopla, they can bring in this way of control and this way of power that so many people are going to fall in line with and go right along with, put the Vatican back in charge of the whole world. But who is this one God? Who is this one religion? Do they just take pieces of every God, put it in a little Yahtzee cup, shake it up, slam it down? Or are we all standing out in Bohemian Grove praising to an owl? We've seen what they do. We've seen what these people are capable of, and we see what their interests lie in. And it's really a scary thing. Now with this, bringing the Vatican back in, you have to go back in history and think about when the Vatican really was in charge of everything, which they've really never lost control. But now to put them truly back in charge, you go back in the times of kings and queens and look at the way things were run. You had the Pope, the Cardinals, the King, and the Queen. Now these popes and cardinals were the high advisors, the ones that everybody went to for making these final decisions. They basically ran everything. Your king and queens were just like presidents are these days. They're puppets. Like Donald Trump. He's a puppet. He's a great puppet too, because what he does is he distracts from everything we should be paying attention to, and all we're concerned about is fighting each other, bickering at each other, worrying about who's right and who's wrong when it comes to Trump and lefties and righties and tight pants and Bible bumping. And it's all a bunch of distractions to keep our eyes off the greater thing. This world that we live in now is nothing but a giant reality TV show. We've stumbled into a giant false flag. We talk about false flags happening, but here's the deal. We're all living a false flag every day, day in and day out. It's a soap opera, it's wrestling, whatever you want to call it. What we're living in right now is a designed, produced, production. Just like in a reality TV show, when you read the credits at the end, you got a director, you got a writer, you got special effects, you got all these things. You don't see the people behind the camera, but they're out there. And that's what we have going right now. Nobody believes what's behind the camera. They don't see that when they bring something like this into power, what kind of changes it can make for this world. How it can, we've already, like I said, in this world of individuality that they try to push upon us, nobody can figure out that it's a world of individuality, but only if you fit into their mold of individuality. You can't be your own individual. You can't have a separate opinion. You got to be part of the mass, but call yourself an individual. It's really cross-eyed pointless. You have to apologize about everything. You have to say, I'm sorry, that you're sorry, that we're sorry. That's all you do. It's a bunch of apologies. Nobody can get any points across because everybody's so worried about hurting somebody's feelings. The problem is the public is so programmed and so brainwashed that they just go along with it. But now, like I said, you put the Vatican back in charge. You put them back in charge like it was in the old days. The kings and the queens and all that. Where does it leave us? Where do we fit in this puzzle? Who were the peasants? Hey, we were the peasants. They ruled with an iron fist. Their way of ruling was not all peachy keen and all happy-go-lucky. Not what we think of the church sometimes when we try to put it with something. Now, I'm not going to beat down your doors and tell you to get right with God and do all this. I am myself personally. But that's your own decision to make in life. You have to come to grips in your heart and make those decisions personally. I'm not with organized religion completely because, I have a hard time giving money to a guy that tells me I have to do that to go to heaven because he needs to make his Cadillac payment and put another 3,000 square feet on the church and pay for the new freaking movie screen, flat screen he got. I have a hard time with that. I have a hard time going with an organization that has rewritten the Bible so many times to benefit themselves, who have written laws in to benefit themselves, who have made people the enemy of themselves. We all go along with it because we think if we don't, then we won't have a spot in heaven, that we won't have a place. But that's not true. Jesus was not that kind of person. I'm not going to get all Bible-y on y'all and get all religious, but I'm just going to tell you, Jesus sat and ate with sinners. Don't forget that. He's not what they make him out to be all the time. If we were made in the image, obviously, he might have a sense of humor. He might be able to fish and throw a spiral. Okay? He might be able to cut a joke every once in a while. He must have had a sense of humor if I was made in his image. Don't let these people convince you that you're going to burn in hell for eternity if you say this or do this. But for them to take upon something like this, to take upon this new created religion, how does this work out? Who gets to say what? Who gets to put what in what place? Who is in control? So far, it sounds like the Vatican's trying to run it, and along with this new world order. Like I said, it's a way of them controlling this world. If you knock down these barriers of religion, you bring in that new control because everybody's going to fall right in line. Most of these people that love the government so much and love Trump and everything he does and this and that, they're going to fall right in line. And then you got the other group that's going to fall in line because of the coexist, because we got to love everybody and get along with everybody, and nobody can hate anybody, and nobody can be different from anybody. So they're going to fall in line too because, well, if they don't, then they'll be racist or hateful or this or that. These people are going to give up their beliefs and give up what they know is right just to follow because what they're told is right. It's a sad way to live your life. Be who you are, live for who you are. Now, as far as this message getting spread, you can't help but to wonder, or help but to see how it's getting spread throughout years and years. You just go back and look at the crosses everybody was wearing. The Crusade Cross. The one from the Knights Templar. A lot of people believe the Knights Templar is one of the groups responsible for starting the banking organization. Well, we know how that's all worked out. You look at coal, oil, gas, power, blah, 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 and the list goes on and on. Where these things have led and what they have led to. These banking industries have monopolized the whole world and made this their chessboard, made it all their little game and taken over. Not only do they control your money, your power, but they control the media that you see also. There was once upon a time where there were different areas to go to get different kinds of news and get different opinions. But now, all you went from these 20 or some odd organizations down to what? 3, 4, 5 maybe? And that's stretching it. It's a small group of people running the whole world right now, doing what they see fit to bring them more power. These are these same people that have monopolized and used things like war for their own power-hungry needs. Created war, funded both sides, and just profited off whatever side won. They make the decisions on who's going to win, who's going to be in it. Because without war, I mean, obviously, they don't make the same money they do. They use all these things. They use this giant world as their own false flag at all times, their own reality show. They write the script. There's a group of people writing the script for this whole world. And unfortunately, we're the peasants that get to live along with it. And I hate to put us in the category of peasants, and I don't mean that in any offense to anybody, because I know all of us are above that. But that's how they see us, unfortunately. We can't let them do that. And unfortunately, you have this society out there that sees the news every night, and they believe everything they see on it. You can have a group of people see something on the news. That first 15 minutes is embedded into their heads. They regurgitate that same mess non-stop every night. Even though the news could change the next night, they'll still regurgitate that first 15 minutes they saw the night before. If anything slips up on the news, like this billionaire who owns that space program came out and said, I know aliens exist. I've spent millions of dollars on it. I work with the government. Aliens are out there. That'll be gone. Nobody will talk about it. They only talk about what they want to talk about, what they want you to know, what they want you all to talk about. It's all pre-planned. When things slip up, they make sure that their little crowd control, or whatever you want to call them, come in and clean up the mess. You'll never hear true things talked about on the news. You'll never hear about CERN or the Mandela effect. If they did, they might just use the Mandela effect and go back and fix that one. You'll never hear about unacknowledged projects as far as UFOs, reverse technology, things like that. If you don't believe in that, hey, to each their own. I'm not going to argue with anybody. If you think the earth is flat, you think the earth is flat. You must have good reason to believe that. Me personally, I haven't hit that road yet, but maybe one day I will. Right now I do believe in space. I believe in universe. I believe in UFOs, fallen angels, whatever you want to call them. But there is some other entity out there. Now, as far as these things they don't talk about, I mean, like HARP, Wi-Fi, what it's doing to our brains right now. Watching this, unfortunately, I apologize to you if you're getting zapped in the brain because of watching me. They don't talk about these things. They don't talk about these truths that we know exist because we're called crazy. Anything true has to be crazy. We don't talk about the fact when we look up at the stars, when we look up at the sky in the afternoons and in the mornings and at night, we don't see the same sky we once saw. We don't see the same sun, the same moon. All we see is these streaks, this fog, this haze. Your younger generations, I apologize, you guys, I'm so sorry. And I hate to keep saying I'm sorry, but it sucks, you know, that you guys don't see the same sky that I saw when I was growing up. Beautiful blue skies, big puffy clouds. You could actually pick out things in the clouds. Now all you see is these streaks. At nighttime, you don't get to see the beautiful stars that are up there. And now we look at the stars, it's not even the same set of stars we remember. These stories will never be talked about. Because like I said, everything has been monopolized. Everything has been a reality show now. Everything is a false flag. You look at the stuff that happened in Manchester compared to what just happened in Kabul with the 300 injured, 100 people killed. Now that bombing, that's a big difference when you look at that. But then you think about it, where did all this stuff come from? Are these groups that we fund? Or this is more of that missing $1 billion in U.S. military weapons? We fund these groups, we create these groups, they go over there, create havoc, and unfortunately innocent people die. Now the thing that happened in Manchester, I don't know about that now. That one's, if you haven't seen the video, see the video of the dad looking for his daughter. Hey, where's my daughter? I've not seen her. The Lord, Skittles, everybody, Balti's everywhere, Lord, Skittles. It's the most ridiculous video. And if it's true, if you did, your daughter passed away, I'm truly sorry. But dude, you went about looking for your daughter in a strange way. Making sure you kept talking to the camera, looking at the camera. If I lost my kid, I wouldn't even know I had a cell phone. It's the last thing I'm worried about. What is wrong with people? To describe it, people are mocking him in the background, walking around, having a good old time like nothing happened. But in his eyes and what he's telling the camera is that there was just an explosion right down the hallway and people are scattered like Skittles. But nobody else sees it. What makes him so special? Right? He's the only one that noticed a bombing? Something's not right there. Maybe Manchester, but something ain't right. Something don't smell right in Denmark. We gotta be awake, people. We gotta quit fighting each other. And I say it all the time, but I truly mean it. They use people like Trump. They use people like Obama, Bush, you name it. You go down the line. They're all distractions. They're all characters in a show that we focus on and don't pay attention to what's going on. You ever get into a TV show and you don't even notice what's going around in the background? It's because that's how they design these things. They design these TVs. They've been doing it since probably the 1960s or before. Subliminal messages, implanting things in your head. These media groups, all these newscasts saying the same thing over and over and over, just putting a different little spin, a different line on it, just so it feeds a different demographic each time it's said. That's all they do, y'all. They keep feeding us crap all the time, and we just keep eating it up until you wake up, until you get your head out of the sand, open your eyes up, get out of the matrix, whatever you want to call it. I know it seems like there's something new every day, and unfortunately there is, because they're going to try everything. They've done everything to take over and push us down like they want. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. Look at all these things in the past that have happened. The Communist Manifesto. Look at all these things. They're happening. And if you deny it, I'm sorry. I'm not going to call you wrong. I'm just going to say you haven't opened up your eyes yet. You got to wake up one day. Not for yourself, but for those you love. Your young ones, your grandchildren, whatever down the line. Don't think about just yourself. Don't be selfish and just think, I don't want to look crazy. If I got to look crazy to make sure my kid has a good life and he's protected, call me crazy. I'll look crazy. I'll do whatever it takes. And I'm sure a lot of you will too. It's a wild world out there, and we got to keep trying. Like I say, we got to quit fighting each other, paying attention to the distractions, and point out what's really going on here. Everything they do has an agenda and has an end game to it, basically. And I'm scared that end game's coming because it just keeps boosting up, ramping up more and more and more. We got to be ready. As I told somebody, if you tell one person or tell 10 people something, out of those 10 people, one person pays attention and wakes up, that's one more in the right direction. And then maybe they'll tell somebody, and that one more out of those 10 will be in the right direction. If that's what it takes, that's what we got to keep doing. Because before you know it, who we are, what we are, is lost to whatever they've created for us to be. We're going to be a bunch of robot, cyborg, non-identity having just shells of what we once were. And they'll have all the control. We got to stop them, and we got to do it by coming together, working together, and quit fighting each other. I know I'm beating a dead horse to keep saying the same thing, but you all know in your hearts it's true. From flat earth to alien UFO believers to JFK old school to you name it, we all got to come together and know what the greater enemy is and work together. Y'all, it's just something I had to get off my chest. Anywho, hope everybody is feeling great, has a great week, feels blessed, gets blessed. If you're having a bad one, I hope it gets better. I got more coming, more videos. I just had to get this off my chest because I had it kind of pent up throughout the weekend, and then I saw all this shit and it just released. I had to get it out. So I got some more stuff coming. I got some stuff on order too for the bug out giveaway coming up here soon. Y'all be ready about that. Can't wait. When it gets here, we'll figure that stuff out, and I want to help you guys to get your bags ready, get your prepper bags ready, and be ready for when shit does hit the fan. If it doesn't, hey, it's not a bad thing to have. You hit some bad weather, break down your car, whatever, you'll be set. That being said, thank you so much, guys, for all you do. Thank you for the support. Like I've always said, without y'all, it's just me sitting here talking to myself a lot of times. I don't know, maybe it's good pep talk. Anywho, I'll see y'all soon. I got some stuff coming up. And as always, y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay incredible. See ya.